as like a small theater where I remember talking to you about the ideas that you had for this theater where you wanted to bring more diversity up to upstate New York, which is really not that far from the city. But I mean, correct me if I don't know if I'm right on this. Are you the Depot's first
I'm the theater's first African American artistic director.
Whoop whoop,
which is an important
hey!
We were having this conversation last week with actually our former teacher about how important it is to start, if you're going to change the conversation and you're going to change the conversation about inclusivity or the illusion of inclusion in theater, you have to start getting those artists of color and creatives of color on the board and in the room. Correct. And not just in the shows.
Right.
And so
how do you as an artistic organization have an honest conversation with your constituents about the plight of BIPOC people and not a single person of color is in the room for that conversation?
It's insane that you even have to explain that or say that or mention that. Like, that should be duh. Like, that should be common sense, but it's not. Common sense is not common.
Common sense is not all that common. And hello. But I've spoken with some colleagues and they're like, I just don't want to walk into a situation where I feel like I'm being hired because I'm Black. To which my response is, you are being hired because you're Black. Now get in there and do the work.
Yes.
Get in there and
take that job and make it even. But now make them be like, oh well, now I have to have them.
Oh, correct. Walk in there and make yourself so needed, and also work breeds work, right?
Yes.
To quote my friend Liz Reddick, work breeds work. So if you walk in and you're doing the work and you're doing good work. Yeah, they brought you in because you're Black, but now you're doing good work, and guess what? It doesn't matter.
Yes.
Yeah.
The work is the same across the board. It doesn't matter what color you are. But now you're in a position to have those important conversations and to actually have diversity.
For real.
And diversity is not, I also use this show for this too. Diversity is not putting Ain't Misbehaving on the schedule because it's cheap to do. Because guess what? It's not.
Hello, you better preach.
It's not. People are always like, "Oh, Ain't Misbehaving, it's 5 people," and then we have a Black show, and I was like, "Yes, you have the Black show, but I'm gonna need some Black money to do this Black show. I need these wigs to be right. I need these dresses to be right. I need the right color tights because there's Black people on stage. I can't use the white people shit that you have stored up in the." No, it's going to cost you some money. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
But that's why something like this, where it's a baby step forward to have a theater's first producing artistic director of color. And then all of a sudden, the added burden of a pandemic that might shut the theater down, it's like, oh, okay, like... I feel like it's, and I can't imagine other places around the country too that are maybe dealing with the same thing, or, it's like you take a step forward, but then it's like, oh, here's a giant step back, and who knows what's going to even happen after this.
Right. And I don't, so here's the deal. In the greater walk of life, doesn't matter if it's regional theater or if I made the French fries at McDonald's. It's just a fact of life in this country that African American people don't get to be second best. We don't get to come in and do the bare minimum. When you're African American or Hispanic or Asian, when you are a BIPOC person in this country, doing the bare minimum to others is lazy.
Yes.
In their eyes. So we don't get the luxury of clocking in and calling it a day, right? So I say all that to say there is some sort of pressure of being the first of of anything, any job, but especially the first person of color of any job and the first person of color running a theater, there is some sort of pressure there. I can't just throw up a season. I truly, and I know a lot of artistic directors do, worth their weight, but I definitely sit and read the scripts and find out how each one can tie together and how they benefit the community, because I can't just throw shit on a shingle.
Right.
It's not me. It's not how I operate. I mean, those who know me know that I'm especially in rehearsals, I'm a perfectionist to a fault, and we will run things again and again and again like I'm Bob Fosse, even though I know I'm not. It's in my blood and my mind and my heart that there's no reason to half step anything. And if you do, I just don't have time for it. It drives me crazy.
Yes. Then why are we even here? Go find whatever you're passionate for, because it's not this. So goodbye.
Exactly, and you're wasting everybody's time.
Exactly.
Why?
And just snaps for you, Kenney, because not only do you deal with this as your position as producing artistic director, but then of like picking your season and whatnot, but then you also direct and choreograph some of the shows in the season as well. So
jack of all trades.
You take a lot on your plate, and that plate is full, but you do it so seamlessly and gracefully. It's
and
unreal.
I can't even imagine being, like you were saying, being the first African American specifically, because I know those eyes are on you. And I know those eyes are waiting for you to any excuse that they can give you. And so that pressure of having to be at your A game, and the whole entire theater at its A game, because they're all reflecting back on you. I mean, right. But from what Megan tells me about you, you are doing it flawlessly, and you are killing it, baby. And so I'm loving it. I'm so inspired by your story. I'm so inspired by you, and I feel like you open doors to more artistic directors and more opportunity.
I hope so.
And so
Thank you.
It's that thing of you open the door and you leave it open for the people coming behind you, and that's
you
Kenney.
leave it open.
And that should be everybody in life, especially theater. We're an industry of passing down the knowledge. If we take it with us to the grave, then the industry stops. Mm-hmm. So we pass down the art form, and that includes being artistic director. I want you to be the best stage manager you can be. Let's work it out. Now you go teach somebody else how to be the best stage. Like, pass it down.
Yeah.
You can't work every job.
No, you can't.
Though you do sometimes. You run that soundboard. You run those light cues.
Oh well, that was a unique situation. I had to.
It was still awesome to see. And there might have even been a moment where you might have even had to go on stage. Thank goodness that didn't happen. But
that almost did happen. I thought I was gonna.
That almost did happen.
It's all right. Sometimes it bites you in the butt, because like one of the shows for last year, which we're going to do this year, was The Mountaintop. So it's 2-person, for people who don't know, it's 2-person play, and it's of male and female, and it's the night before Martin Luther King Jr. gets assassinated in the Lorraine Hotel. Mm-hmm. And he's in the hotel trying to write the speech, and a maid comes and sort of helps him, and you find out some other things as it goes on. I don't want to ruin it for anybody. We thought we were still going to do The Mountaintop during this pandemic. But because one of my best friends was already going to play the maid, I didn't have a way to get an equity actor up there to play Martin Luther King Jr. And I got the script and I started highlighting. I was like, fuck, it's gonna have to be me. I'm gonna have to learn all these lines. I'm too old to learn all these lines. This script it's near this desk right now. The script is still highlighted. Every time I look at it, it's like, remember when I was gonna have to be Martin Luther King Jr.?
And that one is a wordy one. Oh my goodness.
They don't stop talking.
They don't stop talking.
Just a wordy one. Fell over. I just almost fell over on the ground.
Like, I'm gonna need a teleprompter and some.
You know what you're about to say? I'm about to tap into Martin inspired. Yeah. I'm about to just talk. I'm just about to talk.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Whatever happens, I'm gonna let the
Just gonna improv it.
lose me.
I'll know your cue line, but everything else.
Everything else, who knows what's gonna come out of my mouth? Did I tell you I had a dream? Did I tell you that?
Girl,
Repeat that.
I had a dream, and you were there, and you were there.
Did I tell you that?
Oh my god.
Oh my
Now,
goodness.
Kenney, so the summer is over. Your kind of worries about that season have passed. You are now on the faculty at AMDA.
Yes.
How did this happen?
Okay, so and this is just my life. I don't even know how these things happen. This is literally just my life. So I went to AMDA some odd years ago, 20 plus years ago, and one of our
When
classmates.
you were 2?
Sure. Cool. So one of our classmates unfortunately had passed away, and we decided, in my initial class, we decided that we were going to have a reunion to get to see everybody, and this is in the middle of the summer. So we did a Zoom reunion with everyone, and everybody was in their Zoom boxes, and we caught up, and everybody's like, well, what are you doing, and where are you, and da-da-da. Well, one of the people on the Zoom, her name is Stephanie, she still worked at AMDA. And everybody got off the Zoom, and then she texted me, and she was like, can we meet once a week on Thursdays and just see what other theaters are doing? Because I want to see how you're faring in this pandemic. And I thought, sure, this is great. We're reconnecting. It's wonderful. 2 weeks in, this is my life. 2 weeks in, she's like, are you still on good terms with Elaine Petrikov, who's the head of the musical theater department? And I said, I haven't spoken to her since I left her class, but I got an A. I think we're on good terms. I think she's great. I love her. Like, you should send her your stuff. So, this is my life. I don't know how. I've never applied for a job. People say you should send your stuff, and I do, and things happen. And I'm not always ready for when the things happen. So that's what happened. I sent my stuff to Elaine, and she wrote back. She called me, actually. She called me, and I answered. I didn't know the number, and I was like, hello. And she goes, is this the Kenney Green?
The? Ooh.
I said, yeah. She goes, it's Elaine Petrikov, and I think we should talk. And we talked for about an hour, and 3 weeks later, I was on faculty. And within that faculty, I'm now on a committee, a small committee of 6 faculty members, and we are rewriting the curriculum for our second semester program to include more diversity and more African American history.
Another door. You just busting down those walls, man. You just coming in just with a sledgehammer.
Not on purpose. I don't mean to do it.
They're handing it to you. They're like, here you go. Here's a sledgehammer. Okay,
I
I'll go
just
swinging.
open my eyes, and all of a sudden the room's a mess.
Open my eyes, and people say, "Can you change this?" And I say, "Yes."
Yes.
Yes, I can.
I love it. I love it. It's just your life. It's just your life, and it's.
I'm thankful.
But I think it's you've been. I think there's and I just met you, but there's a part of you that just you're trustworthy. There's a trustworthy part of you that like I said, I don't know you from Adam, but I'm like, I can trust him with something important.
Well,
I can
Kenney
trust him
knows
with a
his
big
stuff,
responsibility.
man. Kenney knows his stuff. And there's some people that, like, they had maybe a long career, but they still have no idea what they're doing.
Exactly.
Hello.
Hello.
Why you gotta lead in with that knowing glance? Why is that happening?
I don't know what you're talking about. That's something in my eye.
Blink, blink.
I declare.
Oh my Lanta.